It is almost there. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, yay. It's always good to have the microphone plugged in. It doesn't always happen. Okay, we are live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Welcome everybody, and especially everybody in the Zoom room. Happy Friday. And happy Good Friday, I guess. It never occurred to me when we scheduled this that we were going to be going live on Good Friday. So happy Easter, just in case I forget to mention that. So, been an exciting week here at Meaning of Life Designs. My dad turned 90 years old on Wednesday. And we just got the photos in from Sweden. My sister, actually, I'm not sure whether it's my sister. It's usually my brother-in-law who does the cooking, possibly Albert, my nephew, who does the decorating. But they'd made him a cake with, I think, raspberries, spelling 90 on the top of it. Big grin from my dad sitting there eating his piece of birthday cake. So super exciting to see that. Tomorrow, I feel like this ages me. Tomorrow, my older sister is turning 60. It's like, how in heaven's name did that happen? I thought that was decades out into the future, but it's happening tomorrow. And she has this thing where she's been having a 35th birthday over and over for the last, I guess, 25 years. And Marilyn's doing the math for me there. And this 35th birthday is now a bit of a problem because her son, Matthew, my nephew, just turned 36 in March. So she has to come up with a new plan. Anyway, okay, today is show and share. And there have been some questions that were submitted, but it has been such a long time since we've specifically done a show and share. I want to see what you've all been up to and making first. So we will take a look at what everybody's been stitching on. And then if we have got time allowing at the end, we will dip into some of the questions. And we actually have another Zoom call next Friday. Is the first Friday in April, so we will be all set. And if we don't get to questions this week, we will definitely get to them next week. So I see lots of fabulous work happening around here on people's tables and walls. And so if you brought something to share with everybody, if you could raise your mechanical hand. So if you're on a computer, go down to, it's been a long time since I've done this. Where do you go to? Reactions. My screen is, maybe it's just not as big as it usually is. There we go. If you go down to reactions, no, well, yes. If you go down to the bottom of your screen, if you're on a computer, there should be a reactions button somewhere. It might be under the triple dot more. And if you click on reactions, there is an option to raise your hand. So let's see. Shirley, you are first up. Let's just get into Speak of You with a spotlight. And now Zoom changed the order on me. Okay, Shirley, coming to ask you to unmute here. And I'm going to add you to the spotlight. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm real good.
Good. It's been a long time, it seems, since I've seen you.
Well, it seems like every Friday when I sign up to do the Zoom, something comes up and I miss the meeting. And so finally, one Friday, nothing is happening.
Yay. Well, I'm happy to see you.
Well, I have the flower, like the one behind you,
Mm-hmm.
flower vase 3D. I made,
Okay.
all I have left to do is put a binding on it. And I can show it to you, but I'm gonna take the computer into the room where on the wall it's hanging on.
Awesome.
I would like to ask you, I haven't put a back on it. That's why I haven't put a binding on it. But if I put a backing on it, I just kind of despise stitching in the ditch. My machine doesn't have a real deep throat to it, and I don't know how to keep the back attached. Does it really matter since it's going to be a wall hanging? And I will 99% sure never wash this.
I think that if it's going to be a wall hanging, you know for sure, then there is no reason to do any stitching in the ditch. I
Okay.
want to just tell you, I love the words that you have hanging that we saw when you walked through the door.
Oh, yes. Faith, courage, and hope. I guess that's another um
Beautiful.
um and I also have my other, I can't make this thing go the right way. I also have, not computer person. I also have another one. I can take you there. And it's my other word, and it's commitment. Let's see, where
Down a bit, I think.
down.
Ooh, beautiful. There you go.
It's really hard to,
I love that. Beautiful colors.
yeah. And so my 3D is this one.
I love that.
I kind of followed,
Beautiful.
I kind of followed your color scheme.
It's gorgeous. Can you go in a little closer so we can see the flowers? I love the way you folded the bottom right flower.
The purple one
No, the other one on the
on
the
the
bottom
left.
left flower. Sorry.
Okay.
Getting my right and left mixed up here.
Yeah,
With
who
the
knows?
let's see, the one, two, three, four, five, the six petal flower.
Yeah. Um, that's actually the only one I folded because I struggled with that folding, and then I kind of decided I like it the flat ones just as well
Okay.
for the
You know
amount of
what? They
effort.
look good too.
Hmm. Yeah, they're all very free. I like them.
It's beautiful. That what the red one, the way that you've got the pale color background with the darker color and the way you fold it and the yellow thread stitching on there, that is just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. You
Now I
know, when
saw in Marilyn popped in the chat. Let me just pull this up so that oh, she said spray it with temporary or permanent adhesive before you put the back on and then bind it.
oh, spray
That's
it
an
with what?
option.
Oh, it's in the chat.
Yeah, temporary or permanent adhesive.
Oh, okay.
Um, you know, I am always very reluctant to use spray adhesives. I've met too many people that have had toxic poisoning from them. You could, if you know for sure it's not going to be washed, you could use like double-sided tape zigzagged across it or crisscrossed across the back.
Mm,
You could also use fusible webbing. Now, bearing in mind that you've got the 3D flowers on the front, you're not going to be able to fuse anything on the back in the center, but you could
okay.
at least fuse a little bit around the outside edges to hold
Okay.
it in place just a little bit.
Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. I'll do that because, and that'll help with, because my backings are usually muslin,
Okay.
for wall hangings. I used to put fabric on the back so they were pretty, but the price of fabric for a wall hanging just isn't worth it anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's
Oh,
all I had was my hope, faith, courage, confidence, and my 3D.
it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Shirley.
Thank you for your input.
Oh, anytime. And it's good to see you again.
Same here.
I hope Fridays will work out for you a little bit more often.
They're supposed to not be so busy, but they seem to be.
Well, sometimes that's a good thing.
Yes.
Well, I'll see you another day then.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Betsy, you are up next on the list here. Excuse me 1 second. We have got allergy season strong around here. Can you unmute Betsy? Are you on an iPad or a tablet? You gotta love it when they just don't want to work. Sue is watching on YouTube and says good afternoon. So good afternoon to you, Sue. Nice to have you joining us. Let me send you one more. Oh, there you go. There you go. That works. Now that is from last year's Valentine's workshop, right?
Right.
Beautiful.
And as you may remember, I just recently got a scan and cut.
And how are you liking it?
Well, I've made several of these because that's what I started with. And I've given several away as gifts by putting an initial in the center
Beautiful.
for the recipient of the gift. But my time has been a little limited, but I am so glad that you and I had that nice long chat about the scan and cut, because I think that's the best gift I ever got for myself.
Awesome.
So I plan to use it and do a lot more of your projects, because I have a hand tremor, so cutting applique shapes is not easy for me. So the scan and cut is going to be a lifesaver. So thank you very much.
You are so welcome. I am so happy to hear that, Betsy. You made my day.
Oh, good. Well, you made my day when I did go out and buy one.
Beautiful.
So you'll probably see more from me than you have in the past.
Excellent. I will be looking forward to that. And
thank you.
For everyone, so my brain has just left the building. With all my heart, that's the one, right?
Right.
With all my heart. This is the small heart, and we did the Valentine's workshop last year, making them into coasters.
I also have done the dove and the wreath coaster. So I'm going to be making more of those also. But those were gifts. So these are my two claim to fame so far.
Well, I think this is so exciting that you've got your scan and cut and you're putting it to good use, and I can't wait to see what else you do with it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming today, Betsy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good. Okay. Yeah, Betsy and I had a conversation, I think at the Peace Wreath stitch out, and we got to have a really nice chat when everyone was in their breakout rooms. And I'm so happy that Betsy's picked up the scan and cut. It can be revolutionary if you spend years and years doing the hand cutting, which can take a really long time and can get a bit on the frustrating side. Okay, let's see. Christine, you are next up on my list. Hello. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Busy.
So, what are the temperatures been like in Brighton?
Boring. All they're just all the same.
Oh no.
Okay. So it's January, February.
You know, there is a little bit of variation there, and it's actually really pretty.
March is just virtually all the same.
Oh my gosh. That is, kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
You could come to Chandler. We have like up and down and up and down and up and down and down and then up again. We've got like a 20-degree difference coming up from one day to the next in the next couple of days. I'm like, what the heck? I thought it was supposed to be sunny around here.
I mean, that's March up until the 24th. And I think the 3 days after that are still the same as well.
25th, 20th. So that takes you up till Wednesday.
Yeah. And today I think it's the same.
So April showers coming along, right?
Today, yesterday was really bad. There were high winds, rain, constant rain. Today has been a lovely day, but the temperature is still the same.
Well, that's what's going to make this quilt 100% unique.
That's very true.
Like,
yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by the time we get to May, something might change.
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't know if April really a good temperature month.
It can vary. I mean, down in up on Dartmoor, they've had snow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
No. Well, it is if you're there, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So Dartmoor is in Devon, which is the south of England. Well, you're about on the same like level as Devon. You're still on the south coast there in Brighton.
Yeah. It's
so
not
Devon is west of where you're at.
Yeah, we're sort of directly south of London, really.
So let's see. When am I going to be there? In the end of September or the beginning of September? When in September? I can't remember anymore.
Well,
I think it's like the second week of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will actually
I'm just waiting for them to put some details on their website.
We have been working on that this week. Sue and Catherine and I have been exchanging emails. So any day now.
Right.
Any day now, it's going to be coming up. So if I actually was to look on my calendar, for anybody who would like a trip to England or is in England, let's see, September 7th, which is a Saturday, we're going to be doing what are we going to be doing? We're going to be stitching hearts up. We're going to be stitching hearts from the Awakened Heart collection. I think we're doing 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, kind of like a mini, just a mini class session, so that people can come and have an experience of using an embroidery machine, whether or not they've used one before. And then Monday, the 9th of September through Friday, the 13th. I don't think any of us had noticed that Friday was the 13th, but anyway, we have 5 days staying at a beautiful place. There's a beautiful hotel close to the studio. I think there's a maximum of 9 spots, and we are going to be working on a project, and fingers crossed we should be able to get all the way through beginning to end. And on Wednesday we actually get the day off, and we get to go off and explore. There's lots of different places to go exploring, including going out onto Dartmoor. So that will be pretty exciting. And I think there's at least one dinner involved in there, and I'm excited. So second week of September 9th to the 13th, if you happen to be in England or would like a reason to go and have an opportunity to do some stitching with us. So that's going to be fun. And I'm confident by then your quilt is going to have a few more colors in it.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, we'll be back for another check-in next month.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we get a heat wave, and I can throw in some orange and yellow and break it up a bit.
Or you could borrow some of our heat wave that's sure to come here.
But no, it's coming along. It's coming along good, so I'm quite happy with it.
Good. Well, I love seeing it every month. So thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Okay then. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. I'll see you later, Christine. Who knew? The temperature, you make a temperature quilt and the temperature is like that. Okay. Let me see. Deb, you are up next. Coming to add you to the spotlight, ask you to unmute. Hello. Whoops. Mercury is retrograde right now and seems to be having a fun time with our communication. Not happening. Okay, let me see. I'm going to press the ask to unmute button one more time. Does that actually bring anything up on your screen for you? Okay, there you go.
Yay.
Yeah.
Dismiss. Yeah, so I have been working on the Simply Dreaming quilt for almost 3 years now. I started it after my mom passed away, and I've had fits and spurts of being able to work on it. But our last Zoom meeting, there was a great discussion about putting backs on the quilts, different ways of actually putting items together. And out of that meeting, I got so incredibly motivated. My goal I set for myself was to have my Simply Dreaming finished by today. And I'm really, really close. So I actually got my narrow borders the last thing to do and get it on. And I have the whole thing quilted and embroidered and seamed together now as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I have to also say to Betsy's comments about the scan and cut, the first one of your quilts I did was the big block of the month that's in the round, the Sedona Star quilt. And that one I didn't have a scan and cut for, and I went through and did the light box and the tracing. And then you introduced this quilt and did the lessons on the scan and cut. And I absolutely love my scan and cut. I can't imagine not having it now, which is why I also loved your digitizing classes, because there's so many things that I learned from everything that you do, but also I'm learning how to do as well. And I love that. So
That is so awesome, Deb. Thank you so much.
yeah, thank
I
you.
kind of miss the, your group of the digitizing a design masterclass, because you went on to do the plus class and we had 2 whole years together.
Yes.
I've been thinking maybe we need to have a class reunion or something sometime soon.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, let's get to think about that. How can we make something like that happen?
That sounds good. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I love your quilt that you got over there. I'm so proud of you for setting a goal and going for it. It's just, I just love that. So thank you so much for sharing today, Deb.
Yeah, thank you.
And remember to post a picture when you finished and got the final piece on there. It's
Absolutely.
so beautiful. Did you quilt in the hoop?
I did. And
Because
at
I
first,
said, looks like you've got it hanging on a long arm machine.
yeah,
A
it's
long
just
arm
where I
frame.
can lay it out. So, I actually, I've got the whole back quilted as well. I don't know if you can see it from here, but
Yeah, and you got your
yeah.
binding on as well.
I did. Yeah, once I decided that I wasn't going to cover the embroidery, because I am a long armor, and so part of it was that there's more ties than I'm used to.
Mhm.
But I love the back of it, and I started to think about, when hand quilts were made, they were also all hand stitched, and you could see it. And so it's just a different way to look at it. And so my husband looked at it and he's like, it would be a crime to cover that. And I said, good, because that's kind of what I decided. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's beautiful. I have to say it's one of my favorite quilts, if not the favorite quilt. This is one that I have on my bed. So in exactly those colors.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Deb. So good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
You too.
Okay. You guys are so heartwarming. I just love you so much. Okay, Cheri, you are up next. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I'm going to spotlight you. And your unmute button is working really well.
For once today.
Okay. Practical joy.
Practical joy.
Yay.
The most important lesson I learned is listen to Sarah.
Oh dear.
Because I asked about making a heavier quilt, a warmer quilt, and what you said was put it as an extra layer on the back after everything was put together. And unfortunately, I didn't listen to you. I tried 2 layers of batting in the first block and said, oh, this isn't so bad. But I really struggled with the joins in the end, and it weighs a ton.
An extra layer of batting can make such a big difference. And with the stashing, I wish you'd reached out when you had trouble with the first join, because the way the sashing works, you would think that if you have it's 1/2 inch on the top, 1/2 inch on the bottom, and when you do the sums, you end up with 2 inches. But I'm telling you to cut the sashing at 2 1/8 of an inch. And
I
that
actually tried 2 1/8, 2 1/4, 2 1/2. I had samples all along. And the early joins, I did actually do quite well with 2 1/8. Some of the smaller ones, they actually came out fine with 2 1/8. It's only when I got to the really long one towards the bigger ones. And I think it was just the weight of the quilt is too heavy.
Yeah, I think that because the heavier the quilt gets, the harder it is to get a perfect
Yes.
1/4 inch, right?
Yes, exactly that. So,
Yeah.
so
Well,
the
you've
most
done an
important
amazing
lesson,
job.
yeah. When Sarah doesn't say, oh, put a second layer, it's a bad idea. Don't do it. So after I got through that, I made coasters of the posies.
Beautiful.
They're going to be hostess gifts for Easter. So
That is such a beautiful idea to put the ribbon
little,
around them like that.
little coasters.
I love that.
So I did the tulips one day, and then I did the purple posies the next day.
Gorgeous.
So that's what I've been doing.
Yay. Well, you know, Shannon is actually going to be in town here in Phoenix in a couple of weeks. And I'm not sure if I will get to see her or not, but I'm also going to Florida to do a retreat with her at the end of April. And if she doesn't get the quilt when she comes in a couple of weeks, then I'm taking it out to Florida, and she's going to take the original quilt on tour with her because she's doing a lot of talking about joy all over the place, and she's going to hang in and show people. So I'm excited for that. And I'm so happy that you were able to successfully join, even with your extra layer of batting.
I'm still looking at doing something like taking a ribbon, maybe a 5/8 inch ribbon on the top and the back, and just kind of top stitching it down to kind of cover where things aren't as nice as they should be.
You know what? That's a really good, nice idea. That has lots of potential for being really pretty.
So
You might also want to wait a few weeks, because what I experience is typically whenever I've finished anything, I've got all of the mistakes. Because you've been so close to it for such a long time, you have all of the mistakes and you see them, and they're big glaring things that absolutely everything or everybody is going to glob right onto as soon as they see it. But if you stand back physically and stand back in time, you don't see those things anymore.
Yeah. I think I will put it aside for at least a month.
Sometimes that can be a really good idea. But I'm proud of you for finishing.
Thank you.
So nice to see you, Cheri.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's see. Whoa, that was not supposed to happen. We are okay. Sorry, Cheri. I inadvertently stopped your video instead of removing the spotlight. So hopefully you can restart your video again. Okay, Brigitte, you are up next.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello. How's it going?
Fine, and you?
Good.
I took all the fish from the, what was it, the
Yellow Submarine. Yes.
Yeah, and put them into a large quilt. This funny size had to be because it had to fit into a certain space over my door. So a little bit, but I thought this would be a good size for a aquarium.
That is so much fun. I love what you do with these fish.
And these fish, they are really fun to stitch. I like them.
Good. They look so much fun. And it looks like you had so much fun putting them on there.
Yeah.
And the colors are just fabulous.
Yeah, I like the background fabric here with the ombre because it looks like water getting on top.
Yep, yes, it does.
I had was, I think I should have quilted the whole background first and then stitching the fish on top. But this I found out after I stitched all the fish. So it was too late. The difficulty is all these little odd spaces, bits and pieces, which the fish create. So I had to make something like I had a kind of bubbly design here,
Uh-huh.
which looks like the bubbles from the fish. But this
I
was
see that.
not what I originally planned. But okay, it's
Now, did you do that in the hoop or
yes,
free
yes,
motion?
I did. I quilted
Okay.
in the hoop. It took about seven hoopings, and then the border separately. So
Okay.
also one of your designs from the petal flower garden.
Beautiful.
Can you see it?
I can, yes. Yes.
Yeah, think, yeah.
And I love what you've done with the coral as well.
Yeah, this was an idea to put something. I first had the idea of adding some jellyfish, but I think it is crowded enough.
I think that is absolutely fabulous.
Then, because of Easter, I stitched some eggs. I made two of each,
Uh-huh.
one in the front and one in the back. Can one see it? No, it's difficult to see.
Beautiful. It's a little hard to see it on the yellow one. The green one
Yeah,
is easier.
it's better. It's more than a contrast.
Yes.
So I had to. I can hang it into the window
Beautiful.
because of Easter. And then I started my next project. Do you remember?
Oh my goodness. Go be dazzled.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And this
That is
year,
from a long time ago.
yeah, it is a long time ago, but when I first saw this quilt, I loved it. And I also loved the color scheme you used. And so I tried to stay in this color scheme, color.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So let's
Wow.
look so I can find how it turns out. I have to think about the quilting because I would wanted to quilt feather design in the corners, but I'm not quite sure if this will fit. I think this will probably need a lot of hoopings. The corner designs, the yellow corner designs, which you have to
Right.
add to create a square. I think
Let
they
me
are pretty big.
let me see if I can pull up a picture of it. Hang tight just a moment. Where are Go Bedazzled? The whole thing. They're not okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, Brigitte?
No, yes, yeah,
Oh,
now
there we go.
I can see it. I think
So
you
if
motion quilted this hard, isn't it?
say again.
Did you free motion quilt this corner,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
feather?
I free motion this whole thing, the whole thing. But given that so these are 12-inch blocks, the squares. So which machine are you stitching on?
On the Bernina 880.
And you have a jumbo hoop then?
Yeah, the magnetic hoop.
Right. So this you could do in 2 hoopings.
Yeah.
Um,
And this
okay, now we need
corner
some
you're pointing
triangles
now.
on that. So that from here to here is less than 12 inches. So um this piece here, right?
Yeah.
would be the same as this piece here, or the same shape, and then this piece here. So then you have a square in here. So this square is smaller than a 12-inch square.
So it should fit into a jumbo hoop.
Well, you could do it in 2 hoopings in a jumbo hoop.
Okay.
Mm, okay, how we should be able to figure out some math here. So these guys are 45 degrees. If that, okay, hang tight 1 second. We need a calculator up. So if we have 180 degrees, if we draw a straight line down there, we've got 180 degrees minus 90 degrees for the square, minus 22.5 for half of this, which is that's 45 degrees. So half of that is, so that angle there is 67.5 degrees. Where does that get us? I'm not quite sure where that gets us, because
I think I
I'm thinking sine cos. I need tables here. Anyway, you know what I could do? I could just jump into the design voice. Send me an email and I'll jump into the design, and or you got the templates for those pieces.
Which templates?
There's templates included so that you can cut out these pieces.
Okay, it's not the problem of the cutting out the pieces. It's when I try to quilt it in the hoop.
Right.
I have to create a quilting design, which
right.
has to fit in, 1 or 2 or 3 hoopings. I have to give it a try, how far I can get with 1 hooping and how much I have to divide it.
I would actually say you're probably looking more like 4 hoopings.
Mm-hmm.
Given the size of it, because there's a square here which is less than 12 inches. Maybe 10 inches. I don't actually know, but so you know, just that square is probably going to be 2 hoopings by itself.
Okay.
Because I'm imagining that distance there is going to be too tall to fit into your jumbo hoop.
Yeah, I have to divide it. I will see how it would work. But the background of the individual blocks, I probably have to quilt free motion, because this is like the same like the fish. There are a lot of odd shaped bits and pieces, and I think it would be nearly impossible to create a quilting design for these inner pieces, for the blocks.
You could potentially do it if you do you know how to bring the designs in to create the entire block in the hoop?
Pardon?
So if you're stitching, let's say this square block, the star block in the hoop, in a jumbo hoop, you've got 2 hoopings, right?
Yes.
So create a new design with a crosshair that is 12 inches by 12 inches, because that's how big your finished block is. And then import the first design, align it up with the crosshair, because that's essentially what you would have drawn on your stabilizer. Then bring in the second design and align it with the same crosshair. So now you've got the 2 designs in your embroidery software making up your 12-inch square, right?
Yeah.
And remember from the digitizing class, if we're going to be quilting, I typically leave an 1/8 of an inch around all of the quilting designs. So take the triple stitch from around the outside of all of the satin stitch, copy it, paste it, turn it into a 1/4 inch wide satin stitch that's centered. So you've got an 1/8 of an inch on the outside, an 1/8 of an inch on the inside. So now you can see the actual spaces. There's actually, and you're right in that they are kind of tiny spaces, but there's a little bit of possibility that you might be able to squeeze something in there.
Okay, it will keep me busy.
Yeah. I'm looking at this picture. Free motion there would probably be easier.
I think so
But you
too.
can definitely do you can definitely digitize the corners or and the side pieces and the straight borders. I'm excited to see what you do with this.
I will give it a try and I'll let you know. It will
Okay,
keep
that
me
sounds good.
so much.
That's a good deal.
Okay, thank you for your design, Sarah.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love seeing you stitching these things up. Okay. Let's see. Holly, you are up next. Coming to add you to the spotlight and ask you to unmute here.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good. So this is like the Christmas table runner that never dies, but it's done, and I'm so, I'm so excited that it's done because I really want to get into a new project. But you know, we could certainly talk about that at another time. But anyways, just to show you as best I can, I used every one of your ornaments. So it's all different. Let me see. How can I do this? It's
There you go.
all different. Every ornament is different. I had to duplicate some of them because I needed 24 ornaments. And I used, all I did was I kept it very simple because I loved your designs on the ornaments. I don't know if up close will help. But the designs are so beautiful that I kept the background fabric of the ornaments the same, gold batik, and everything's the same other than your embroidery stitching. And I used a variegated Christmas colors thread, except on the, you know, the border, the satin stitch and the top. Yeah, I love it. And I used a paler green on the solid block so that you could see your quilting.
Oh, wow, it's beautiful.
You can see that, right?
Yes, it just came into focus.
It really came. I'm just so happy with how it came out. Yeah, so I'm done and I'm ready to move on.
Well, that is fabulous. I absolutely love it. And yours was one of the questions. So you're wanting a new challenge and you love the butterfly wall hanging.
I do, absolutely.
So that actually, if you go onto our website, you'll see the butterfly, and we're actually contemplating only having the combination available because too many people are being confused. So the butterfly is the applique.
Correct.
Midnight butterfly is the quilting. And then there is an option for the combo. So just go with the combo version.
I'm just going to go with the combo because if the wall, I want both. I want the applique and the quilting. My question, and it's a quick one, but I don't have any cutting machines. I've done a ton of machine applique. I've worked with wool. I've worked with all kinds of different fabrics, some handwork, but I have cut every piece of applique I've ever done with scissors. And I did your table runner that way, only because I don't have a cutter and I don't even know where to go yet in that direction. So I'm taking it slowly.
Okay.
With the butterfly, I noticed that those are AccuQuilt designs.
Yep, the butterfly uses, let me pull up a picture of it. It's
I actually have the AccuQuilt cutter.
okay. The Heather, it's let me see, where is it?
I think you mentioned it. You don't have to worry about it. I think you mentioned it on your website. What
Yeah,
designs it is.
it's Heather Feather 1, Heather Feather 2, and it uses, I'm just pulling, and it uses some of Heather Feather border. So the
Okay.
3 Heather Feather dies
Okay. All right.
will do that. I actually finally figured it on the so it should pop up on the screen any second.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes. So like this little shape, this one here, this guy, and this from the Heather Feather border.
Okay.
Another one here. And yeah, Heather Feather 1, Heather Feather 2, and the Heather Feather border.
Okay, perfect.
For the big butterfly.
Okay, that's the one I would really like to ambitiously attack that one. So keep your fingers crossed.
You know, I think you will do just fine.
Yeah.
And there's lots and lots and lots of people who have stitched this up. So if you pop into the Facebook group, if you have any questions,
Got it.
if you remember the Q-tips a while back, they all made the butterfly. So all 3 of them, and lots of people have stitched up the butterfly.
Okay. Great. So the background quilting on that, the feathered quilting, that's part of the package?
Yes, on this particular one, let me pop it back up again. This is I called this particular quilt Midnight Butterfly, but this and the Midnight Butterfly package is the quilting. So all of this quilting that you see here is done in the hoop.
Okay.
Now, the butterfly quilt is actually, it was the kind of game changer. Let me show you the original. So this is the original butterfly quilt, which was just the applique, and this is actually the very last thing that I free motion quilted.
Wow. That's free motion quilted?
Yes, this was free motion quilted, me sitting in front with the sewing machine. And I had so many people emailing me when we released the butterfly, as in the applique pattern and the pattern for the quilt, and say, is the quilting included? Because I really want it. And it was like lots of people.
Yes.
You know, sometimes it's only a couple of people, but this was a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, well, it looks like I have a job attached here. So my endeavor was to figure out how can we do the quilting in the hoop so that it is kind of sort of on the same vein as the free motion quilting. So it wasn't too bad for the border. You can see the border up at the top and down the side. This is I don't remember how many hoopings, but that single stretch of feather here is done in at least 2 hoopings, if not more. So we kind of mastered the art of being able to do a continuous line of feathers, and you'd be really hard pressed to tell where the join is there. My big challenge on this was figuring out how to do the kind of the little feather pebbling, or the filler pebbling. And it's very organized pebble quilting. But we did it, you know, we did it. And
Beautiful.
they're little teeny tiny petals, very orderly in lines and what have you, but it works. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah. And the instructions actually have two different ways for you to do the quilting. You can either piece the quilt first, and I think either way you're going to do the piecing first, and you can either do the applique and then quilt the finished quilt top, or you do the piecing and you do the quilting and then you do the applique, which to some extent is a little bit easier. If it's going to be a wall hanging,
Yes.
both ways work.
Question, is that center panel of the butterfly one piece of fabric?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, that is
okay.
one piece of fabric. And I think the overall thing, I had it out here, it's in the other room now. It's a I think it's I don't actually know how big it is. Let me see.
Size. I don't have it out either. I should have, I haven't yet printed any of the paperwork on it, but yeah.
I can tell you. Let's see. 47 inches by 38.5 inches.
Okay. It's a good size.
Those are that's the complete quilt.
Final dimensions. Okay.
The final dimensions of the finished quilt. Yeah. And then you also have we called it the butterfly 100 because these shapes are the 100% size of the heather feather dies.
Okay.
We also did, let's see, don't you just love it? Please ignore those portrait pictures there.
God, you know, gorgeous.
So this one is the butterfly 50 pillow. So these shapes, and these are not appliques. This is just stitching and free motion quilting, which is not included. But this is the butterfly 50 because this is 50% of the size of the heather feather shapes.
Okay. Wow.
And then the butterfly pillow, which is, I don't know why we don't have the butterfly pillow right there. I don't know where the butterfly pillow went.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe I would start with the pillow.
Oh, here we go.
Of that.
So the butterfly pillow has the butterfly 70 in the center, which is applique. And this is 70% of the full size.
Wow.
So this body pillow is this is the butterfly 70 in the center and then the butterfly 50 on both sides. So this is just pure stitching.
Okay.
And the center is an actual applique.
Yep. Okay. Lots of options.
Lots of options.
Yeah, that's what I love about your patterns is that you do provide so many different options with the designs that it makes it fun to kind of try to put your own thing together. So
well, thank you,
Sarah. I don't want to take up any more time. I know you have other people, but I appreciate it. Unfortunately, on Fridays through May, I coach a high school tennis, so I am not around on Fridays until June, but I'll see you then.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you again in June, Polly.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Wow, we are at 1 o'clock already. That flew by. Okay, I have a little bit of show and share right now. I am working on the Hearts and Kisses quilt for the Awakened Heart collection. I've been piecing blocks madly. This is, let me see, this is going to be a 12-inch finished block. This piece of fabric is, or the way the block is right now, it is measuring 13 inches. You might think 12-inch blocks when you do 12.5 inches, but I elected to add an extra ½ inch so that we've got a little bit of extra room when this thing is quilted. So these are going to be joined with 1/2-inch seam allowance, because we basically got a string of blocks. So we have the 12-inch finished blocks, which fit the large hearts. There will be 10-inch finished blocks to fit the medium-sized hearts, 8-inch finished blocks. You would like to think these would hold up straight. 8-inch finished blocks will fit the small hearts. And then there are 6-inch finished blocks, and there will be 4-inch finished blocks. I have the fabric all cut out and just not got them stitched up. But I love the way these guys are coming together. And tomorrow, I think, even though it's Saturday, I'm going to be finally able to start stitching, actually doing the applique. So I'm excited about that. We're doing applique right onto the piece blocks. Okay. Thank you so much for coming today. It is always a joy to see what you are working on. And so thank you everybody who brought things to share. You never know who is going to be inspired by what you've shared today. You just never know. So you can almost guarantee that somebody is going to go away from this meeting with an idea in their mind that they didn't come with, and that it might be life-changing. Who knows? It may well be life-changing. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you so much for sharing. We will be back next Friday at the same time for all of us except for Christine, because your clocks change this weekend, and anybody else in Europe. So next week's your time's going to be different, but for everyone in the US, the time will be the same, noon Pacific. So I will see you next Friday. Have a wonderful Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate. Somebody should have told me that the other day. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. What's it? It's Tony's Chocolonely. My friend James from Phoenix Children's Hospital put me onto this chocolate. It's in Whole Foods Market. I don't know if it's probably sold other places as well, but it's they're on a mission to abolish slavery and whatever in the I was gonna say chocolate cocoa bean world, wherever it is. But anyway, it's good. It's good chocolate. They're doing good things in the world with it. And yes, it's very easy to eat an entire bar in 2 sittings. And they're not small. So that is my Easter chocolate treat. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.